and welcome to Unraveled on Sandy's Numerology. The story is going to actually show you what a 5 actually means. And a 5 is powerful, but as a number, when it gets to business, it's all about power and it's all about control. But they are not the people that like to spend, so they have a tendency to cut corners. Let's look at the name Titanic, the first 2 letters, which is the T, which is the 20th letter, and the I, which is the 9th letter of the alphabet. So the first letter speaks of partnerships, working together. The second letter being the 9, you put those 2 together and you get an 11-2, which will always bring in the word water, which is en masse, and how it would affect the masses. So from a positive perspective, carried over 2,500 passengers, and yet the 11-2 being water, which comes in many forms. It can be about ice and the word iceberg, and one must never underestimate that a ship of that magnitude, when you picture it in the waters of the North Atlantic Ocean, it's a blip. So the first company was called White Star Line, which was the builder of the Titanic. There were 2 owners of White Star Line, but one had passed, and the son, his name was Joseph Bruce Ismay. He was born on the 12th of the 12th, 1862, and he was age 49 when the Titanic was ordered. So we go back to the name of Titanic, which is a 4, and RMS, which is a 5, which added to a 9. So there's starting to be a repeat of the numbers. So what happened now is that White Star Liner was pulled in under another company called Harland and Wolff. They were born on the 11th of April 1861, and they were age 51 when the Titanic was ordered to be built. There were 2 people that owned Harland and Wolff. The Harland part of Harland and Wolff died before the Titanic. Gustav Wolff was born on the 14th of November 1834. So we note being born on the 14th, which adds to a 5, but there's his 4 straight away. But he was a 5 life path, and there again we start getting the repeat of the specific numbers. He was 77 when the Titanic was ordered, and 7 and 7 is 14, which also adds to a 5. And yet, in favor of Gustav being born on the 14th, that 4 alone would tell you that he would be involved with earth, metal, and wood. The same with Harland and Wolff being born on the 11th of the 4th, and there comes that 11, which is about water. It's about masses, affecting the masses, being born in April, being builders, earth, metal, and wood. But they have a 5 life path too, so it will tell you the energy of Gustav and Harland and Wolff was all about power and control and money, but people with 5s, short arms and long pockets, and how they would be looking at making money for themselves and how they can actually cut corners. And unfortunately, they don't have a conscience either. Very cold, very calculating. So the next step is that Harland and Wolff were bought out by a company called IMM, which was International Mercantile Marine Company. It was born on the 1st of the 10th, and that 1 and 10 adds to an 11, which adds to a 2. And interesting here again is they also were a 5 life path. And at the time of the build, we look at the company being bought on the 1st of the 10th, 1902. So it was quite young in its establishment as IMM. And we look under its age, the I and the N, and during the course of 1902 through to 1915, which is a very important thing that I stretch it beyond the sinking of the Titanic, it sits in a 955 triangle, which is a fraud triangle, and it sits right underneath the name of the company. So number one is a 5 life path full of deceit, but sitting under its name was a lot of fraud going on and financial mismanagement that were going on in the International Mercantile Marine Company. The day that the Titanic was ordered, and it was ordered on the 17th, which adds to an 8, of September, and 9 and 8 is 17, and 1 and 7 is 8, and it was ordered in 1908, and the outcome of that day was also an 8. The next step after the Titanic was ordered was the day that the ship was launched, which was the 31st, which adds to a 4, of the month of May, which is a 5, and we go back to RMS Titanic, which is a 4 and a 5, which adds to a 9. And the year was 1911. So when you add the 31st of the 5th, 1911, it's got a 4 life path. All the 4s is about the word build, and all of the number 5s is about the management, the mismanagement, and the power games that were going on. The Titanic was completed on the 2nd of the 2nd, which adds to a 4, in 1912, and that adds to an 8. So that's all about the structure and the extremes and all or nothing. And an 8 is the 2 circles where one link is connected to the other link, and it's got to be very balanced. And we know when ships or yachts or liners are built, the balance of the ship is vital, because if they're a fraction out on one side, the ship is going to have a problem. But if the joins in the body of the ship are not also joined well, because a 4 is so precision orientated. So if we go from 1908 to 1912, 1908 is when it was ordered, the ship was launched 1911, the Titanic was completed not even a year later, 8 months later. What is interesting is that because we travel in 9-year cycles, the universe is incredibly patient, and because the numbers repeat, is always a chance that things will get sorted or found out, or truths revealed, and people are able to bring closure or understand, or as the series is called, unravel the truth behind the story. And I can just imagine IMM, White Star Liner, and Harland and Wolff was all these power games that were going on. It was all about money and how they would get the ship built and paid for, and how much money they would make for themselves in the long run. Thank you for watching Unraveled on Sandy's Numerology.